You're getting like a 10 for 1 right now.
This is boxing. This is the beauty of the sport. This is what makes you a pugilist, okay? Oh, beautiful. Keep it flowing.
What up, what up, what up? No days off November. We are back. We are on it. I'm losing count. I think we on episode 9, man. We being real consistent right now. If you're watching this live right now, I want to say what's up. And if you're watching this on a replay, which I know a lot of you guys are, I mean, I'm doing this at 10 p.m. Eastern time. I know a lot of you guys got work in the morning. A lot of you guys aren't like me, night owls. You guys are going to sleep early and waking up early. So maybe you watch this in the morning. So good morning to you if you're watching this then. Today, man, I want to get back to our Q&As and, boxing Q&As because last week was just a lot with the Caleb Plant and the Canelo fight. And we just kept talking about them. And, this channel is an educational channel. So I want to get back to you guys and talk a little bit more about boxing fundamentals, Q&As. If any of you guys want to get on here today and chop it up with me, we'll put the link in there in just a minute and answer some questions, man. You know what I mean? We've been working real hard. Me and Eddie, we put together 2 courses that are just right now being, chopped up, edited, and all that stuff. So we don't even got it out yet. But I'm hoping to get it out immediately, ASAP. I'm so excited to release them to you guys so you guys can check those out. Drop Build You from the Ground Up, obviously, about 2 weeks ago. And a lot of you guys are picking it up, and a lot of you guys are messaging me and shooting me emails, letting me know that you guys are loving it. So I'm happy for that. So, right back to what we're trying to do, man. No days off November is just something that I'm trying to do, something new, and, see where it goes, have a lot of fun. And I appreciate the people who are actually pulling up in here. A lot of you guys are being consistent. Let me go ahead and start dropping some names. My man Caesar said, you already know what it is. What up, Caesar? We got round 1 in the building, putting up thumbs up and the fists and all that. What's going on, champ? My man Sean Breezy. Sean Breezy, what up? What's going on, champ? We got Garnett. Let's go. What's good, man? We about to get started. We're going to talk about just boxing today, man. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Scott said, hello, Coach Anthony. How you doing, Scott? I hope everything is good with you. B-Dog said, can you go through some Mike Tyson angles when punching? A lot of people have asked me about the peekaboo and Mike Tyson and a lot of those stuff. So, I've been hesitant in my journey to teach that kind of stuff. But you know what? I'm going to put a little bit of thought and I'll put something together for you guys, man. You guys have been asking me for a while. So, we'll see, you know what I mean? Nick and Drew Bush said, Coach Ant, salute my brother. Andrew Charles says, salute, Coach. Salute, my boy. Hope everything's good. Jeff the Boxer, what up, Coach? What's going on, man? And my man, hey, Coach, sorry, couldn't afford the $100 hour Zoom lessons. Listen, man, I got courses for sale and I got, the Zoom. The Zooms was something that I was really doing aggressively last year, especially in the midst of the pandemic when people weren't going to the gyms. Of course, I got the courses and all that type of stuff. But look, man, I got a whole YouTube channel, man. You know what I'm saying? With a bunch of free content. So even though I'm here, and of course, I'm going to always push my courses. I'm going to always try to get you guys to invest into yourself and stuff. Hey, man, I got a YouTube channel that has a lot of videos and stuff. It's just that when you do the courses, the Zoom sessions, it's just a little bit more in depth, right? It's like kind of like a personal training class, a personal training session compared to like a group boxing session, right? Like if you go to a group boxing session, you're going to get something out of it. Like, you're going to hit the bag, you're going to sweat, you're going to learn some punches. But then, when you're doing a personal, it's no longer about the group, it's about you. When you do a group, it's about the group, right? So it's the same thing with my YouTube channel. I teach stuff that can bring value to you and bring value to many people. But, when I target it on a course, you know what I mean, where I'm specific on one topic, I'm gonna dive into that topic. If we do a coaching call, I'm gonna dive into where I see your mistakes are, your flaws are. So it's just about, you know, investing into yourself. And, you know what I mean, I understand finances isn't easy for everybody, but if you ever do come across some extra funds and you want to invest into yourself, you know what I mean, listen, that's what it's all about. I probably purchased like 4 courses this week on some topics that I personally want to improve on. So it's all about investing into yourself. You know what I mean? Randy Willard, man. I already know my boy. What up, Randy? Yo, how do you feel, man? Listen, I don't want to bring this back to the Canelo Caleb Plant thing, but man, I posted something on my Instagram today and I'm getting backlash, man. If you guys don't already follow me on Instagram, follow me at Coach Anthony. My last post, if you see the comments on there, I'm getting roasted, man. People are coming at me crazy, going at each other crazy. It just became such a threat. It's like a boxing freaking forum right now. In that particular post, I'm just gonna let it sit up there for a while and let people go back and forth until that thing slow down. Champion mindset, what's happening, coach? Let's do this. All right, my brother, we about to get started for sure. What's good, coach? When it comes to working on becoming an inside fighter, what drills can someone do specifically on the bag? So it's funny you say that because me and Eddie are actually dropping a how to box on the inside course. Well, I'm dropping it, and Eddie, of course, is featuring on it. And a lot of stuff on the inside, drill wise, you can actually do on the heavy bag. Working the inside is an art form in itself. You have to understand it. You have to understand the intent, the intangibles of working on the inside, the risks, the rewards, the options. And there's several ways you could drill it. You could drill it with a partner or you could drill it on a heavy bag. So be on the lookout for that course because I dive into the specifics in that course. You know what I mean? But boxing on the inside is going to be depending on what your approach is on the inside. Sometimes you may go shoulder to shoulder. Sometimes you may have your hands up in the middle, right here. It just depends. You know what I mean? And it's going to depend on what you're trying to accomplish. You're trying to set up shots to the body, and a lot of this stuff is similar to boxing from mid range. A lot of people think it's a totally different game. It's a similar game. It's just you're doing it from right here now. So that's something where I'm going to highly suggest you look for my course because there's just a lot of things. We could spend the whole freaking session right now just talking about that. You know what I mean? So be on the lookout for that. But for sure, you could definitely work on the heavy bag, get really close to the bag, whether you're working the shoulder to the bag or you're, a little bit here and just start working them short punches on the inside, moving your head on the inside and staying close to the bag because you're working the inside, right? You don't want to give too much distance. You want to stay close. So I know you probably want more specifics on everything, but this is a topic where there's going to be a lot of detail involved, and I feel like you need to see me demonstrate, and you need to see somebody actually working this stuff so I can explain to you step by step what I'm talking about. My boy, known for Farias. I don't know if I'm messing up your last name, man. What up, coach? What's up, my boy? Thanks for the super chat, Mr. Just because when I get that money or when all the work gets real, the percentage would be more lovely than 100 an hour. Oh, listen, it's all good, Mr. Just because, man. I ain't tripping, man. You know what I mean? My goal is to try to help as many people as I can. Of course, I love boxing. I love teaching boxing. But at the same time, I understand the situation now. For those of you guys who do want to purchase my courses, you know what I mean? Of course, we got the no days off 50% off all the courses, you know what I'm saying? So you guys will be more than welcome to go grab one. Go grab a course and start off with a cheap course and then see if you like it. And if you like it, maybe you may want to get more of the more expensive ones, you know what I mean? That's what I always tell people to do. Sean Breezy, what do you think about Caleb trying to get validation from Canelo? So it's funny because I actually got a text message from his father, Caleb's father, Richie Plant. He actually texted me personally about that post. He actually texted me personally about that post, and it was crazy because he said, let me see here. Man, maybe I should just bring him on and let him say it himself. But he basically said that Canelo, said it to him first, and then he went ahead and he replied to Canelo. So I'm gonna see if I can get Richie Plant on here in the next couple of days and talk to you guys a little bit. It'd be really dope if I can get Caleb on here, man. But listen, at the end of the day, I thought it was dope. I didn't have an issue with it. Some people said that it felt like Caleb Plant was folding up and all this other stuff. Look, man, Caleb Plant fought a hell of a fight. I thought he fought great. Listen, knockouts happen in boxing. And when you're fighting a guy like Canelo, who's been at the top of the food chain for so long, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was always the number one factor between those two guys was one guy just got there, one guy's been there. Okay, but skill wise, I thought Caleb looked very good. By no means that I think he folded up. My cousin thought he folded up. I had my cousin on here yesterday, Peter Nieves. He felt that he folded up. I didn't feel that. I felt that it was a competitive fight, and they did a little bit of talking in the ring or whatever, but it was respectful. It was respectable, and the fight was respectable. It was a respectable fight. At the end of the fight, they showed respect to each other. Canelo was very respectful. Caleb was very respectful. They fought their hearts out. Things happen. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel. Hey, coach, how come you didn't turn pro? I didn't turn pro for a couple of reasons. First reason was I waited too long. I waited too long to really, I'm gonna say, like, push it. You know what I'm saying? I feel, at least I do. You know what I mean? I hurt my wrist in a fight, and my wrist was never really the same, even to this day. Like, this wrist goes all the way back, this one doesn't. And I went to an orthopedic surgeon. They told me that my ligament and my tendon no longer connect. But going back and thinking about it now, I could have still made it work if I really wanted to. But you know, it was one of those things where I was going to the gym, I was working with guys, and I just wasn't staying fully dedicated to it anymore. I lost my dedication to it. I started working nightclubs, and I started making money at a relatively, young age. And I kind of ran with that. And then it just became a thing where if you don't put your full dedication into something and you're not like completely in it, then why are you doing it, at a professional level? And I knew that I wasn't fully in it. Now I've sparred many professional fighters. I was sparring guys before I even turned pro. I mean, before I even turned pro, before I even while I was an amateur, I should say. I was sparring guys while I was an amateur that were professional, 10 pro fights, 20 pro fights, stuff like that. And I would do well, and I would train around these guys regularly. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot from a lot of professional fighters over the years. But like I said, if you're not going to be fully dedicated to boxing, don't go pro. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to get hurt. And that's how I felt. I felt like, you know what, man, with the amount of dedication that I'm putting into this, there's no way that I'm going to be able to succeed. You have to really, really, really devote your life to boxing to be a professional fighter. You can't be doing nothing. Like, you can't be out late. You can't be drinking on the weekends. You know what I mean? And me working at the nightlife, I would do stuff like that. I would drink at the end of the night, a long night's work. I would go inside and I would drink at the bar with some of the, people who worked at the bar. And the next morning I'd wake up a little groggy. And then I still show up to the boxing gym, believe it or not, and still work and train and everything like that. But I was already 22, 23, still didn't go pro. It's like, what am I doing? I'm playing around with this. So the good thing was I stood in the gym regardless. And then I got a lot of gym experience. I got a chance to work and learn. Then I ended up deciding to open up my own gym. And the fact that I had so much experience with boxing, from when I was 16, having my first amateur fight at 16 and sticking with it till I was like 28 years old, even though I never fought pro, I ended up opening my own gym. And then I started developing guys, which wasn't even the case either. I wasn't even looking to be a trainer. I was just looking to be a gym owner. Then what ended up happening was I was like, why would I pay a trainer to do something that I can do? So then I started training guys. Next thing you know, we're here today, right? I work with world champions. I work with UFC fighters, Bellator fighters, national champion amateur fighters that I built from scratch, kids who made it to the Olympics, stuff like that. So, here we are today. Yo, coach, how's it going? Quick question about jabbing and moving. I know when I move to my left as an orthodox fighter, I can jab as my left foot lands. But how do you jab when you're moving to the right? That's a good question because a lot of people try to step as they're jabbing to the right, and it just doesn't feel the same. Um, for me, I'm not a big fan of jabbing to the right. I may circle to my right and then stop and then pop a jab. Okay, so I might have done a video on this on YouTube now that I think about it. I should really look into it. But if I didn't make a video on this, I'm going to have to make one specifically with that title because this is a question that I've gotten quite a bit. You can also slide your feet, something that I've talked about before where you slide. But if you're circling to your right, there's no need to there's really no need to do that. All you do is step back, circle to your right, stop, pop a jab, and then you're probably going to start circling back to your left. If you're circling to your right, you're typically setting up the power hand or you're trying to avoid the power hand, right? So if I'm standing in front of you and you're throwing a powerful right hand at me, I want to circle away from it. You know what I mean? So I may circle, I might stop and then throw a jab. You can also maybe step as you throw a single jab, but to continuously do it, it's going to be like, I don't know, like choppy. It doesn't feel natural. It's not something I suggest. So I would suggest you continue to circle to your left. You step forward. You can also slide back, pop a jab. It's like you're shuffling back. You stop and you pop. So I'm gonna have to make a full video on this so I can actually demonstrate all this stuff. Right now, it would be kind of silly. I'd have to rearrange everything to demonstrate it. But circling to your right as you're jabbing the same way that you circle to your left is not how it's gonna happen. You're gonna more circle, then you're gonna stop, and then you're gonna release the jab for the most part. My man Randy Willer said, people in the chat, stop making excuses and make it happen. Get in the gym or Zoom sessions with Coach Anthony. You won't regret it. They never do, champ. Randy, I appreciate you showing love, man. I appreciate that. Or hey, what up, my boy? Check in North Jersey. North Jersey is in the building. What's going on, man? Scott said Caleb did a great job. Definitely deserved to be in the ring with Canelo, and I'm sure Caleb learned a lot. Absolutely. That was a huge learning experience for Caleb Plant. And I think he will be. I think this fight for Plant is gonna do what a lot of people say the Mayweather fight did for Canelo. It's gonna improve him. He's gonna learn now a little bit more about himself. He jumped into deep waters, man. You're fighting arguably the best fighter since Floyd Mayweather, and he did his thing. Real dude uprising. Plant did well. He just got caught in the deep end of the pool. I agree. The Big Show said Benavidez will smoke Canelo. Damn, smoke him? Be a hell of a fight. One thing I will say, Benavidez is there to be hit. He stays right there in front of you. He stays in the middle, right? And he can be hit. But if he can absorb what Canelo's throwing, his size and his power might play a factor. I'd watch it. Mr. Just because of the super chat, the audio in the fight was great. We are all just men with an end that is always finite. Trying to understand what you're saying, champ. But when you say the audio in the fight was great, what do you exactly mean? Because when I think about the audio, I'm thinking about what the commentators were saying, and they was really, really bugging. They was disrespectful to the point where I was like, I didn't even want to hear what they were saying. So what part of the audio did you really like? Torek said Plant could fight Canelo 10 times and he lose 10 times. Damn. Really? You think so? Who knows? I guess I don't think that's something we'll ever know. Dang, coach, you never opened like that before. You the realest. Damn, hold on. What the hell did I? Was it maybe you talk about when you talking about my why I didn't go pro? Maybe that's what it was. Uh, I know I'm moving through these comments slow, man. I got to start scrolling a little bit faster. Real dude uprising. Thank you for the super chat. Do you think Plant's main takeaway was using the Philly shell at the wrong times in the wrong range? Everybody can't shell in the corner like Floyd did. No, I don't think it had anything to do with the Philly shell because he got caught with a left hook. So even if his lead hand was up, the left hook is what clipped him. You know, when he went to block the hook, his hand was way back here. He got clipped here. Had the Philly shell been an issue, he'd have got clipped with the right hand. Now, what I will say is when he bended, when he was tilting at the waist, he was getting cracked a few times. And I'm not a big fan of a taller guy bending at the waist, with a big puncher who's a little bit shorter. And I also felt that Caleb Plant could have made adjustments with his hands a little bit more. He was kind of just keeping his lead hand low the whole time. I'm not a fan of that. I like the lead hand low in moments, but I like the hands somewhere in a relaxed area. I made a video called How to Box in a Relaxed Stance. And if this is a traditional boxing stance, I'll drop it to right here. You see where it says USA Boxing? I literally just left the boxing gym and came here to do this. But I would take my hand and I would drop it somewhere around here. And the reason why I like it somewhere around here is because if the right hand comes, I have options, right? I can easily turn that into a shoulder roll, or I can easily turn that into a lead glove blocking. And from here, I can also drop a check hook. And from here, I can still pop a jab. As you can see, I got my right hand under my chin. From here, I can still use the catcher's mitt to be an extra line of defense. From here, I can still block a hook easily. From here, I can still catch uppercuts easily. From here, I can still shoot a straight right hand. So, I'm more of a fan of keeping the hand somewhere in this area. You know what I mean? Because I could do everything from here. I could go bop, right? I can go bop. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that the hand should always be by the waist, and I don't think the hand should always be up. I believe that the hand should move. The hand should move. Sometimes the hand might be a little further out. The hand might be here. So little things like that. Andrew Peck, do you think it's possible to go pro at an old age? Anything's possible. I think anything's possible. Is it probable? Is the question. You know what I'm saying? Probable and possible are two different things. You can go pro, but how successful are you going to be? That's the question. And what are your goals? You see what I'm saying? It's like everybody got to understand that you could do anything in life, but it's just about what are your goals? How far do you want to go with this? What are you trying to accomplish with this? If you come to me at 30 years old and you say, I want to be a world champion, well, I'm going to say, okay, you're 30 years old, you want to be a world champion. What kind of boxing experience do you have? You're going to say, well, I never boxed before. I'm going to say, okay, so you're a 30-year-old man who's never boxed before. How does your body feel? Do you have any injuries that I need to know about? How's your lower back? How's your knees? How's your shoulders? Everything good? Well, I got a few aches and pains, but okay, cool. And then we got to say, okay, then I got to try to train you. Then I got to say, okay, let's just say you're good, you're learning. Now I got to try to sell you to some sort of a, promotion or a manager who's willing to take you on. And then you got to hope that they do. And then if they do, then you got to hope that you get the right fight. Like there's so many things, everything got to align. Everything got in a line. Now, can you go pro? Absolutely. You can just go and become a professional. Guys do it in Mexico all the time. Guys do it in all these places. Now, are you going to be successful as a pro? As a 30-year-old guy with 1 year boxing experience or 2 years boxing experience, now you're 32 or something like that, or 27 or 25, but then you're boxing a kid who just came out the fucking Olympics, and this kid's been boxing since he was 6, and you know what I'm saying? and he's a phenom, and now you got to fight him for your first pro fight, and you have barely any amateur experience. He got 130 to 200 amateur fights. You see what I'm trying to say? It's like there's just a lot of things that go into it. It's not just wake up, go pro, become world champion. It's, all the stars have to align with this. So that's why it's recommended that the younger the better. Now, do you want to learn boxing for self-defense? Fantastic. Do you want to learn boxing and pick up some amateur fights? Fantastic. Do you want to pick up a few amateur fights and have a bucket list to go pro just so you can say, I fought one pro fight? Fantastic. But you have to understand that these far-fetched dreams, it's possible, but it ain't going to be easy. It's going to be 50 times harder for you than it will be for the other guy. You know what I'm saying? It can happen. Maybe. I'm sure one day it may, and we'll be like, wow, what an amazing story. But you have to understand these are anomalies, right? It's like the kid who grew up in a really, 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 really poor area and became like a super successful multi-millionaire. Like, can it happen? Yes. Does it happen? Yes. How much does it happen though? But when you got a kid whose father was rich and then his father was rich and now he's born into money and he has the resources, he has the education, he has the silver spoon in his mouth, it's a little bit easier for that guy. You see what I'm saying? So boxing is no different. It's a little bit easier for the guy who started at the right age. It's a little bit easier for a guy who had the proper amateur background, pedigree that will prepare him for professional boxing, who by the time he's 30 years old, he's already defended his title, like Canelo Alvarez, who's 32 years old, and he just became the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. Imagine starting at 32 years old. You feel me? Canelo did all of this by 32 years old. In 2 more fights, he'll be retired, maybe 3 more. He'll be 35. You're trying to start your career at the same age that he's ending his career. You feel me? Anthony B said, I like that hybrid stance, coach. I appreciate that. Hey guys, just bear with me. I know I'm a little bit behind on these comments and questions. I'm trying to get to, everybody at a fair rate here. But I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. Javier Herrera said, what do you look for when sparring to land a check hook, coach? Well, the check hook is something that you're gonna set up, right? So for instance, if my lead hand is low and I'm fighting out of this position, right? I might tap that rear glove of yours like a up jab, but I'm dropping that shoulder back, you're working, whatever. I'm looking for you to throw the right hand. So that's why I'm inviting it in. I'm inviting it in by dropping my lead glove. As you throw the right hand, that check hook comes. Now, whether I decide to step with the check hook or pivot with the check hook or just drop the shoulder back, it's a check hook. Okay. Another time you might throw a check hook if it's somebody's in close and you just boom, just punch and pivot out. Somebody might be trying to press you to the body or something, and you just might go boop, and then you just might slide out. So the check hook can be set up. What do you look for when sparring? I'm looking to time it, basically. I'm looking to time the shot. I'm looking to time the right hand. You know what I mean? That right hand's coming. I'm looking to time that check hook over the top. I like to turn the 2 knuckles over like this. And if you notice, I like to put the catcher's mitt here. So if the right hand does slide through, I got an extra line of defense, as opposed to if I have it here and I go to throw the check hook, boom, the right hand catches me. But when I throw the check hook and I transfer the hand from either under the chin, the side of my chin, when it gets transferred, this is what's going to stop the potential right hand. So that's why you have to, that's why the hands move, right? This moves. This doesn't stay in one spot. This doesn't stay in one spot. The hands move, Even when I move my head, if you notice, the hands move. If I move my head here, look, my face is wide open, right? You can hit me with a left hook, right? Look at that. I made a video on this in the past. My hands are here. I slip over the lead leg. The left hook, I can get hit, right? Fundamentally, a trainer be like, look, he dropped his right hand. You can hit him with the hook. But when I go like this, if I come here and then I sneak in a right hand lead, when I drop my hand here and you go to throw the left hook and I time the right hand lead, my straight shot beats your hook shot. But that's a timing thing. So when would I decide to do that? Based off of your patterns. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like, when you decide to slip punches and you decide to do certain things, you cannot just do them right away. You have to build the timing between you and your opponent. So if someone's popping a jab, let's say I'm looking to slip and come back with the right hand, right? Someone throws a jab at me, I'm gonna catch it. I'm gonna step back, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna catch the rhythm. I'm gonna make sure that he's not throwing a 1-2. I'm gonna make sure that he's not throwing a double jab, right? So once I feel like I get it, pop, I'm working my stick, right? I'm using my footwork, I'm using my in and out, whatever. I'm stepping around, taking my time. I'm paying attention to the patterns. Now, when he throws that jab, slip, boom. But if I do it too soon, he throws that jab, I slip. As I come back in, boom, I get cracked with the right hand, maybe even before I land mine, because the guy's going to step in as I'm here, my back foot, and I come in. So the key is pick up on the patterns before you make the decisions to, do anything in boxing. So what do I look for when I'm looking to land a check hook? I'm looking for patterns, and I'm looking to set up the right hand. I'm looking to set up the check hook over the right hand, or if you're a southpaw, I'm looking to time it over your jab. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that's basically it. So I hope that answers your question. William Lee, how much should I jump rope for boxing? It varies. I know guys that'll make you jump 20 minutes. I used to make guys jump 20 minutes some days. Sometimes the jump roping is shorter, 5 minutes, just to get the blood flowing. Other days I do three rounds. Other days I do 4 rounds. There's no set number. It just depends. Sometimes we used to jump rope to cool down after a great workout. So the warm up might be a more functional warm up, like jumping jacks and toe touches and mountain climbers and stuff. And I also use the jump rope to warm up as well. The workouts change, the workouts vary. Sometimes after a complete workout, let's just say you killed it, I might grab the rope and say, hey, give me 10 minutes. So you cool down with the rope. Other days, the jump ropes to warm up. We like to change it up because in boxing, there's only but so many workouts. There's but so many exercises, right? You got the jump rope, the shadow boxing, the heavy bag, your basic calisthenics. You know what I'm saying? If you're in a boxing gym with a boxing coach, the speed bag, the mitts, the heavy bag. So in order to change it up and mix it up, sometimes we make you do things at different times. There's been times where I make a guy shadow box at the end of his workout. Typically shadow boxing is one of the first workouts you do. You jump rope, you shadow box, you hit the mitts, or you spar, or you hit the heavy bag, just depending on the day, depending on the situation. And then what ends up happening is, you do your calisthenics and your core work and your table work or whatever at the end of your routine. But I've had times where I'd make guys shadow box at the end of their workout. So it just depends how much, what are we working on and how I'm feeling that day, to be quite honest with you. Real basic question. Okay, let me read slow. Sometimes I try to read fast and it's like, I sound like I'm not making any sense here. So hold on. Real basic question, but how open do you have your hands before landing a punch? Or do you keep a loose fist at all times and just tighten up before connecting? Yeah, I like my hands loose. And the reason for that is just for relaxation purposes. Imagine I'm tensing up my fist and then I'm throwing a punch, right? Just keep your hands slightly open, almost closed, but just relaxed, just nice and relaxed. I have a tendency sometimes when I'm watching my shot, my thumbs are out. I hate when I do it. My pinky be out. I hate when I do it, man. I'm like, oh, I hate when I do that because it's just like a stupid habit of mine. But for the most part, the hand somewhere around here is all it needs to be. That you close it right before it's time to, see what I'm saying? Hands are somewhere here. Fist too soon just doesn't feel comfortable. You can even close them completely and just clench them closer to punch time. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. Smash the thumbs up for Coach Anthony. Thank you, man. Thank you for reminding the people to press the like button, like, comment, subscribe. After this chat, drop the comments in the regular comment section for me, man. Just say anything. Just run them comments up, man. Listen, we're trying to start something here, man. You know what I mean? And I need your guys' help. I can't do this by myself, or I just might as well do this and then release it afterwards. But if we're gonna be live, if we're gonna be interacting with each other, you know what I'm saying? I need you guys to participate with the liking, with the commenting, with the sharing. You know what I'm saying? If I answered your question, record the clip, post it on your Instagram. Let people know that you was on my live and your question got answered. Let's spread the word, people. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to grow this, but it's no big deal. You know, at the end of the day, it's just something that we're doing. We're trying to start something. Appreciate you. Or hey, have you heard anything on how Errol Spence is doing and time frame on his return? No, I have not. Good. I'm glad that you said that. Hold on, let me take a sip. I'm drinking protein right here. I'm glad that you said that. Because I haven't heard anything. I hope he's doing well though. And we got, of course, Sean Porter versus Terrence Crawford, and you know that we're looking forward for if Terrence wins that fight for Errol Spence and him to somewhat show up, fight each other, I guess. But first, we got to make sure that my man's healthy. Real dude uprising. You're so right on Ant's hand placement. Canelo was trapping his right hand against his chin and body. It's true. My man said the variables. I'm trying to come across these comments, guys. My man says smash the like button. Appreciate that. Andrew said, Coach, I'm 25, but I'm realistic. I have MMA experience and almost competed in MMA as an amateur. My goal is to win belts and trophies in the amateur circuit. It's always been a goal, prove that I can do it. Fantastic goal. Nice and realistic. And listen, I hate to be the guy who's like, I don't want to cut anybody's dreams, okay? Because in life, anything is possible, but you just have to know what the uphill battle's going to be if you decide to have really, really big dreams. Like, for instance, if I wanted to be the president of the United States, is it possible? Freaking maybe. But is it probable? Probably not. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm freaking what? I'm already starting late. You know what I'm saying? I'm not freaking politically educated like that. I'm gonna be starting at such a freaking upside down situation that is gonna be so hard for me to ever reach an attainable level like that. But can it happen? Yeah, maybe if I devoted my whole life to it and all the stars aligned, I met all the right people at the right time and showed up at the right places, and you know, I'm not gonna say it can't happen, but the facts of the matters are is it's probably not gonna happen. But a goal like that, a goal like me right now, trying to have a really successful YouTube channel and having a really successful boxing coaching career, that's a little bit more probable for a guy like me, a guy who's been involved with boxing for over 20 years and a guy who has spent the better half of my life dedicating myself to learning my craft. You know what I'm saying? And working with top-notch guys and been doing YouTube, and I got a momentum, and yeah, this is a little bit more realistic for me. You feel me? So I'm gonna stick with this. The Big Show said, "What is the best exercises for stamina? Everything, everything matters, man. You know what I mean? You got to run. You got to hit the bag. You got to spar. You got to hit the mitts. You got to do everything that I just mentioned with real intent, real intensity, right? If you just run like, what the hell is that gonna do, right? If you're just hitting the mitts, like, yeah, if you're just hitting the bag, like, I ain't gonna do nothing till my coach tells me to, then of course you ain't gonna go nowhere. You're just moving your body, you know what I'm saying? You're staying active. But if you got real intent to get your stamina up, You're gonna have to put real effort into everything. And if you want to get your best stamina for boxing, then you're gonna have to do what boxers do. And you can't be one of these guys who think it's all about running. Okay, let me just clear that up right now, because you could bring me a marathon runner right now, and I guarantee you I'll get him tired in 3 minutes. Not even. You see what I'm saying? You could bring me a sprinter who sprints, and I'll burn his ass out in 3 minutes boxing, because you have to be able to box. So you need to be able to get in the ring. That's why sparring is so important for boxing. Heavy bag work is so important for boxing. Mitt work is so important for boxing. I can't tell you how many athletes I've trained from other sports that could not complete a boxer's workout. And these guys were in phenomenal, aesthetic looking shape. You know, they come in, they got the muscles, they're ripped up, they could jump real high, they could do all this stuff. But when they boxed, they gassed out and they were like, wow, this is the hardest thing ever. It's hard because you've never done it before at this level. You know what I'm saying? Remember this, being in shape is simply the mind and the body connecting. Okay. I always use this analogy because you could take a boxer and put him in the weight room to do some heavy weight training, and he's going to be horrible. I can't tell you how many boxers I know personally that are at the world class level that don't perform a squat properly, don't perform a deadlift properly. They barely know anything about weight training, but these guys are in shape because they box. But then you give me that same, but you put them in the weight room and they're completely lost. Then you give me a guy who's really, really good in the weight room, but you put him in a boxing gym, he's completely lost. So then the question is, who's in shape? Because if I take a guy like Tyson Fury, for instance, who boxes all the time and he could fight a 12-round championship fight, but then you get a guy who is Mr. Olympia and put them side by side, you're going to obviously think Mr. Olympia is in better shape. And the truth is he in better shape? It's all about the mind and the body connecting, because if Tyson Fury can't do what Mr. Olympia could do, but Mr. Olympia can't do what Tyson Fury can do, then who's really in shape? It's just the mind and the body connecting as one. But back to the stamina thing, because I know I always take an answer a question and go to another area, but back to the stamina thing, the thing is, you have to do it all, right? Everything plays a factor in boxing. Boxing is about an accumulation of different things done at full intensity, and that'll eventually get you in great shape. So, you know, I would say box, I would say run, I would say swim, I would say push yourself. Push yourself. Anything that's gonna push those lungs, and you do it day in and day out, so you could do it a little bit more efficiently, a little bit faster, a little bit longer. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you know you're getting your stamina up. Javier said, thanks, coach, no problem. Lee Bone said, it's 22 at good age to start. Why not? My man Rasheem Jefferson said, confuse the muscle. Yes, sir. What's up, my boy? Big shout out to Rasheem Jefferson. My man Evan said, thank you for your amazing videos. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you watching them. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody watches my videos. You feel me? So if you take the time out your day to watch my videos, thank you. Big Brothers in Life, will you do seminars or workshops in the future? Absolutely. I may do some stuff online, guys, so be on the lookout for that. I mean, right now, we're in a time now where we have to take advantage of technology, right? I mean, we got like right now, you guys are literally chopping it up with me, and all of us live in different places. So, you know, maybe doing some kind of an online workshop might be the key, because then I can attack everybody at one time. Do you bend your knees all the time fighting? I mean, you got to keep your knees slightly bent. I mean, you're not like crouching, but your knees are slightly bent, because if your knees aren't bent, then they're going to be completely locked, right? So your knees are bent slightly, like, you know, just a slight bend in the knees. Chocolate Bacon say, "Hey, nice channel. Thank you, brother." Do you think that advances in sports and nutrition have made boxers better now compared to the old school boxers who had much stiffer competition and regular fights? Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, I think whenever you learn more, you're going to get better. And we've had a lot of time to learn, right? We've learned from those guys. Those guys paved the way. You know what I mean? All the old fighters from back then, they paved the way. So now you got more efficient ways of training and stuff like that. But that doesn't always necessarily mean that the fighters of today are better. It's just like an old car, right? You get some of them old cars from the 70s and the 80s, man, them things was built to last. You know what I mean? Them cars are better than some of the cars you buy today. And now, don't get me wrong, the cars today got all the fancy gadgets and all of that, but they might die out before the cars from back then. So, you know, it's like one of those situations where yes, it can be better, but then sometimes better doesn't always mean better because you end up thinking that you need all this technology and you need all this new advanced stuff. And sometimes it's just the basics that what you need. The fundamentals is what you need. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like a blend of both. You can't just like rely on modern day technology and all this stuff. Like you got these guys who do these strength and conditioning and all this complicated stuff, and it looks fantastic and it looks cool. And I'm sure under the right guidance with the right coach who really understands the strength and conditioning aspect, it could be a benefit. But is it necessary? Not always, right? You know, you don't need all these supplements and all this stuff. You know, sometimes it's as simple as eat a good diet. You know what I mean? But you have to understand what a good diet is, of course. You got to understand nutrition to a degree. But you might not need all these fancy diets and no, you know what I mean? So the fundamentals is key. It's just like boxing. You learn the fundamentals really, really good, and then you could build on top of it. But if you just give me a guy who's learning a bunch of stuff, but he ignores the fundamentals, he's gonna fall apart. So it's just like that when you talk about comparisons to the old stuff and the new stuff. It's like it can help as long as the foundation is solid and then the right education is put in place before you make those decisions to use that stuff. Mr. Judgment Crew, I want to fight with Garrett Groover. Garrett, you just found yourself a fight real quick. Super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Mark Hedrickson said, President Coach Anthony, what's up, my guy? I appreciate you. Big Show says, should boxers mess with weights? Not necessary. I mean, maybe for heavyweights, more necessary than any other weight class. Not necessary. Am I saying no? I'm not saying no. Am I saying you have to have weights? Absolutely not. I mean, many fighters have fought at the highest levels without weight training. So, listen, all weight training is resistance training. We have to take things into account here. What is weight training? It is resistance training. There are many ways to create resistance. You see what I'm saying? You know, so I mean, you got guys out here who do the old school, just climbing the rope. You know, like you climb the rope, and you see wrestlers do. Some boxers still do that. You know, tire work and all these things. They give you the same results as weight training. It's just a different approach to resistance training. When you're hitting a heavy bag, it's resistance. You know what I'm saying? So push-ups are resistance. You know, you're working the push-ups, right? You got guys who go to jail who don't have access to weights because they took the weights out the jail. And guess what? These guys come out cut up like a bag of dope. Why? Because they're doing their push-ups, they're doing their sit-ups, they're figuring out different angles to do their push-ups and different angles to do their pull-ups. And these guys are in phenomenal shape. And they got muscle. Why? Because they are using resistance training. They're tearing the muscle down and the muscle is rebuilding. So, do you need weight training? Absolutely not. I've said this so many times. Think about a boxer's routine, man. A boxer runs, a boxer sprints, a boxer jumps rope, a boxer is sparring, A boxer is hitting heavy bags. A boxer is doing calisthenics. You feel me? A boxer is doing mitt work and with a trainer who's pushing them. Believe me, you're gonna feel it. When I hit the mitts nowadays, I'm lucky if I can get around if somebody's pushing me. Like, you guys have to understand the body needs recovery. You don't build muscle in the gym, you build muscle when you're recovering. You break the muscle down in the gym. So if I'm weight training on top of everything I just mentioned, when do we get the recovery? When does the body rebuild? You're just gonna keep tearing the muscle down. Let's just say you do a crazy chest day. Your freaking chest, your shoulders are destroyed. You killed it. And then the next day, you're ripping hooks. Your trainer got you. Come on, man. You think your muscles are recovering? You're just tearing them down more. If anything, you're risking injury. So it's not about weight training. It's more so about finding out the smartest ways to use resistance to benefit your boxing. And of course, boxing training is number one. Do you need resistance training from weights? No, you don't. Can you get it from weights? Yes, you can, under the right protocols. But you can't just go into a weight room and train like a bodybuilder and then go to the gym and train like a world champion boxer and expect to get results in the long term. Might work for a little bit, you end up getting hurt. NMR20067 said, "This is real talk right here. Appreciate you." My man Andrew Peck said, "Love you, Coach Pauls." Appreciate you, my brother. I love you too, man. I love everybody who showed me love, man. Love is a two-way street, man. You got to show love to each other, man. You know what I mean? Too many times nowadays, people don't want to show love. They too cool. If you show love, I show love. Real simple. Andrew Peck said, "Good points on weight training. Weights don't win fights. Boxing and learning the game does." Absolutely, man. You have to learn the fundamentals of boxing and you have to get in shape through boxing. Boxing is number one. Everything else is just a supplement to boxing. Boxing is number one. Remember that. Phillips said, "Top man, Coach A, I appreciate your hustle. What's an NB point you give to newbies about building cardio for fighting?" What's a NB point? I'm not sure what an NB point means, but I kind of answered this when it comes to cardio, man. If you want to get in shape for boxing, box. So start the boxing routine. You know what's funny? I owned the gym for many years. For people who've been following me for a long time, you guys know that already. And people used to come and inquire and be like, "Coach Ant, I wanted to join your gym, but I had to go get in shape first. So I joined the regular fitness gym, and in 6 months, I'm gonna come see you." And in my mind, I'd be like, "Hold on. So let me get this straight. You want to box, so you decide to go to a different gym to get in shape so you can box. Feel me? Doesn't make sense. You come to the boxing gym and get in shape to box. You feel me? So if you want to box, you box. If you want to get in shape through boxing, then come box. Come out of shape. We'll get you in shape. We'll get you in boxing shape. That's why they call it boxing shape. You want to get in shape, we'll get you in boxing shape. You jump your rope, you hit your bags, you may get some mitt work if you're doing some personal training, or if your trainer is generous and wants to give you mitt work. Eventually, you'll be sparring if you stay consistent and you learn the fundamentals properly. Believe me, you're going to get in shape. But you're going to go to the gym and do the cardio machine and the Stairmaster, and you're going to maybe try to run. But if you're out of shape, you're probably going to start with an incline walk or a regular walk. It's not going to get you shape for boxing, brother. I'm sorry to break the news to you. You got to box. So go through the boxing routine. Start wherever you are. If you can only jump rope for 30 seconds, then you jump rope for 30 seconds. If you can only shadow box for 1 minute, then you shadow box for 1 minute. If you can only hit the bag for 20 seconds at a time, then hit the bag for 20 seconds at a time. Before you know it, it'll be 30 seconds at a time. Before you know it, you're jumping rope for a whole round. Before you know it, you're doing the boxer's routine. And then before you know it, you're boxing. Okay? So that's the key. Start with a boxer's routine to build stamina and cardio for boxing. Because, like I said earlier in this chat, you can bring a marathon runner to me and I'm going to get him tired in the boxing gym if you let me train him. He going to get gassed up. I put them mitts on him. I put him on that heavy bag. He going to get gassed up. What happened to that marathon? What happened to that 10K you ran? What happened? Why are you tired? Trust me, I done it plenty of times. Seems like you guys are fighting in the chat, huh? You guys want to fight each other in the chat. I gotta cool out, man. Anthony B said consistency is key. Absolutely, consistency is key, man. So yeah, man, make sure you guys go to the website. No days off 50. Get the 50% off all the courses. We got CoachAnthonyBoxing.com. You know the deal. Go grab a course, man. Invest in yourself. Show love, support. Cop a course. Learn something, man. We got Build You from the Ground Up. That's a great starting point. All right. I literally start you at the jab, build you to the line, just like the old days. Take you to the bag. I teach exactly what we need to focus on for those particular rounds. Um, I think it'll be a really good starting point. And of course, if you have experience, check out the other courses. Ohio John said, "What is the hardest habit for you to break young fighters that come into your gym?" Um, every fighter has their own habits, man. So I can't really answer that question. Everybody has their own habits, but that's why it's very important that you teach them right from the very, very beginning. Because a lot of times people come to me from different gyms and then they already have habits built. You know what I'm saying? So it's about trying your best to teach them from the very beginning. But everybody's gonna have different habits, man. I mean, that's one thing about boxing. Everybody's gonna be, and this is such an individual sport. You know what I mean? That you're going to have to adjust to the person you're working with. What's one or two common things you see amongst amateur fighters that you train to let you know they're ready for their first fight? I know an amateur is ready for their first fight when they could defend themselves against another amateur who currently competes. So I always have like a little gauge that I use. Like I'll take a kid with zero experience or whatever and build them up to sparring. And once I feel like he's ready to spar, I'll start to call in guys who has fights. So I'll call other coaches that I know, and then I'll basically hit them up like, hey man, you got any kid with 1, 2 amateur fights or a kid that you got that's on the verge of fighting? And once they're able to defend themselves and be competitive in those situations, then I know he's ready to fight. So it takes some time. Everybody's different. Some guys it may be quicker than others, but for the most part, once I could put them in the ring with a kid who has some nice skills, who's got 1 or 2 fights, and I put my kid in with 0 fights, and my kid is holding his own or even getting the better of the kid, then I know. Keep smashing that like button for Coach Anthony. Appreciate you, man. Harlem World said, "What's up, Coach? What's your advice for someone who wants to start their own private training company with no gym? And is there any proper or specific way to do mitt work with somebody?" Um, you know, honestly, man, if you want to start your own private training company with no gym, I would probably, I would still get a LLC. I would still do all of that stuff as if I'm opening a business. You know what I mean? So I could have my own thing going on and get the insurance and all the stuff that you need or whatever. But once you get that done, then I would suggest that you find a gym and make a deal with the owner. Tell the owner, hey man, I want to start training people out of this facility. I will pay you a monthly rent. I'll be out your way. I won't bother you. um, can we work out some sort of a deal? And maybe you might get a guy who says, yeah, give me $1,000 a month, or give me $1,500 a month, or give me $500 a month, or whatever, right? And you just start training people at that facility, and then you're just gonna have to pay them for using the space. That would be my number one thing. And then eventually, if you want to open up your own space, then you got to find a cheaper space that you can afford, and you open up your own space. You know what I mean? So that's really the only way that there is to do it. You know what I mean? Oh, and as far as there a specific way to do network somebody, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you want to do it right, I mean, anybody could just grab a pair of mitts and tell a guy to throw punches. But if you want to do it right, there is a specific way. I mean, it definitely mitt work is an art form. You know what I mean? So I'd be lying to you if I said, nah, man, just grab a pair of mitts and do whatever the hell you want. I'm not a fan of that. I'm a fan of doing things with proper form, proper technique, proper punch placement. So that's how I hold mitts. I don't know if you guys ever seen me hold mitts, but me, for a very long time, that's how I've made a name for myself, was holding mitts. So for me, I take mitt work very seriously. So I would say there is a specific way to hold it. Coach, I've been thinking about that boxing will bring out your true personality, and made me think about how Teddy Atlas said Tyson never won a fight and he was on 6. In your opinion, what's the best disposition? Um, I mean, damn, I wish I don't really know what you mean when you say disposition. Can you clarify exactly what you mean? Coach Anthony's not the smartest guy, as you can see. On the world side, thanks, Coach. I appreciate the advice. No problem, brother. What's better than one-on-one personal training or being in a class with other boxers? Not one of those. For I mean, I think they both are important. I think they're both important. I think you need one-on-one time with a trainer, your coach, or whatever. And then I also believe that an atmosphere is very important. I think being around other fighters and good talent is very important because you're going to feed off of each other. So I think it's both important. Bro, best personality translate to boxing is probably, somebody who's willing to fight, going to go through the fire, somebody who doesn't give up, somebody who's really, really mentally strong, somebody who understands that things are going to get difficult, but, at the same time, you're willing to deal with that. Because that's life, right? If we sat here and said life was easy, what I mean, and we never went through no trials and tribulations in life, then, I'd be lying to you. Well, boxing is no easier. So you gotta have, you can't be a person who's willing to quit or give up when the going gets tough. You gotta be somebody who's willing to go through the fire. So I would say that's the best advice for somebody who wants to be a fighter. If you want to be a fighter, you better be willing to deal with it when it gets tough. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna get tough. The training's gonna get tough. The sparring's gonna get tough. The fights are gonna get tough. And if you fold up, then you ain't gonna make it. Give us the recipe, coach. Yeah, I got you, man. It's coming soon, man. I got so much stuff coming for you guys, man. I'm starting something real dope real soon. So that's that, man. I'm gonna answer one or two more questions and then we out of here. We doing this every day for November, so you guys ain't got nothing to worry about. Mangui versus Rosado, who you got, coach? That's a toss-up, man. I'm looking really forward to that fight. I mean, that's something to look forward to, man. That's something to look forward to, man, this weekend, man. It should be a really, really good fight. I think Rosado got a chance, but I also think Munguia, has a good chance. So it can go either way. But yeah, man, guys, I want to say thank you so much, man. Please, if you guys want to support, go to the website, CoachAnthonyBoxing.com. Get a course for 50% off, man, for being on part of the live and giving out the deal. You already know the vibes, man. I want to say thank you all again for all the questions. And we'll be back here tomorrow, same time, same place, 10 p.m. Maybe I'll have somebody on here. Maybe we'll just continue this Q&A going. I don't know yet. But just be on the lookout for the flyer, put the notifications on, follow me on Instagram at Coach Anthony. I'm constantly updating on there what I'm doing. So yeah, all them things put together, man. We're gonna keep this going, man. Tomorrow will be episode 10. Tomorrow will be episode 10, man. So yeah, no days off November, man. We still got weeks to go. And so we got plenty of time to chop it up with each other. So I just want to say thank you again, and you already know. Appreciate y'all.